Welcome to Mr. English Hub, and welcome to the Deep Dive. I'm Paul.
And I'm Rachel.
Today, we are really diving into something crucial. How do you actually achieve ultimate fluency in a second language?
Yeah, what's the secret sauce, right?
Exactly. We've gathered quite a range of sources, some heavy academic papers on, skill acquisition, cognitive psychology.
The sciencey stuff.
Right, but also practical guides, the kind serious language learners actually use day to day. Stuff focused on stopping that mental translation habit.
And our goal here is to sort of connect the dots. Take the science behind what's called automatic processing and merge it with strategies that you can actually use.
You can finally bypass that really frustrating step where you're translating everything back and forth in your head.
Yeah, we want to give you a shortcut, really, to getting that fast, smooth, accurate speech. It's about understanding how your brain gets good at complex things, like speaking another language fluently.
Okay, so let's start with a big idea. Our sources often talk about second language acquisition, SLA, as a type of complex skill learning.
Right. It's not just memorizing vocabulary lists or grammar rules. It's more like learning to play the piano or, well, the classic example is driving a car.
The driving analogy. Let's unpack that. Because when you first learn to drive,
Whoa.
oh, yeah, it takes so much mental effort.
Right.
You're constantly thinking, checking mirrors, shifting gears, focusing on the pedals.
Total concentration. And if someone talks to you or the radio's on,
Forget it. You're likely to mess up, stall the car, miss your turn. It's easily disrupted.
I remember just being exhausted after a driving lesson back then.
Totally. But then, with practice, something changes. Driving becomes, well, easier. You can chat, listen to music, navigate, all at the same time.
And you don't feel like your brain is melting. The effort level drops way down.
That change, that shift from high effort and easily disrupted to low effort and resistant to distraction, that's automaticity.
So the individual bits, checking the mirror, pressing the pedal, they become automatic. Exactly. They happen without you consciously deciding to do them, without needing significant attention. It's like the difference between a manual and an automatic car transmission. Your brain shifts gears for you.
Okay, so bringing this back to language learning, what does automaticity do for your L2 performance?
Well, the research is pretty clear. It makes your speaking faster.
Faster, okay.
And more accurate, more stable, too. And, this is critical, it makes it more immune to interference.
Interference like
Yeah.
background noise or just your own thoughts getting in the way.
Both, yeah. External sounds, internal chatter, automatic processes aren't easily derailed, and all of this directly builds fluency, that ability to use the language quickly, smoothly, accurately.
Which brings us to why this is so important. There's a trade-off involved, isn't there? With attention.
Absolutely. Attention is finite. You only have so much mental bandwidth.
Right.
So if you're speaking your second language and you have to spend a lot of that limited attention just recognizing a basic word or figuring out a verb ending,
Then there's nothing left for the actual conversation.
precisely. You can't think about what you mean to say, the nuances, the social cues, the pragmatics. Automaticity frees up that attention. It lets the basics run on autopilot so you can focus on communicating effectively.
Okay, so automaticity isn't just about being fast, though speed is definitely a sign. The researchers have stricter criteria, right, to really prove something's automatic.
Yes, they do. We need operational definitions. It's helpful to think about the contrast.
Between automatic and, what's the other one? Controlled.
Exactly. Controlled processing. That's the slow, deliberate system. It requires awareness. It gets bogged down if you're juggling too much information. And crucially, you can stop it if you want to.
Like consciously deciding not to think about something.
Right. But automatic processing, that's the opposite. It's fast. It happens without awareness. It doesn't care how much other information you're handling. Its performance stays stable. And this is the really wild part.
It's unstoppable.
It's unstoppable. Ballistic processing, some call it.
Ballistic, like a bullet leaving a gun. Once it starts, it just goes.
Pretty much. Think of the Stroop effect. Everyone knows this one. The word hardy printed in blue ink.
Oh, yeah. You have to read the word RD, even though you're trying to say blue.
You literally cannot stop yourself from accessing the meaning of the word you read. It's automatic.
And there was that Neely experiment with L1 reading that really showed this in action with language, right?
Neely looked at skilled readers. He'd flash a word, a prime, and then a target word. Sometimes the prime was related, sometimes not. Sometimes he told people not to expect the related word.
And what happened?
In those first few hundred milliseconds after seeing the prime word, people couldn't help accessing its meaning. Even if they consciously know the target would be different, their brain automatically went down the usual path. The access was ballistic, unstoppable.
Wow. So your brain's already processed the meaning before you can even consciously tell it not to.
Exactly. That's automaticity in action.
Okay, so unstoppable processing. What about the effortless part? How do they test that? Because if it takes zero effort.
You should be able to do it perfectly while doing something else demanding, right?
Yeah.
That's the idea behind the dual task studies. Posner and Boys did a key one. They had people do a primary task, like recognizing letters.
Simple enough.
And at the same time, they had a secondary task, like listening for a random beep or noise.
Okay, so juggling two things.
Right. And they found that when the letter recognition task was highly practiced, when it had become automatic.
Let me guess, it didn't interfere with hearing the beep.
Exactly. Performance on the secondary task, the noise detection, didn't slow down at all.
Which means the letter recognition wasn't drawing on their attention pool.
Precisely. If it required conscious effort, it would have pulled resources away, and detecting the noise would have suffered. But it didn't. So the recognition was truly effortless, automatic.
That's pretty convincing. Effortless, unstoppable processing. That's the goal for L2 fluency.
And we even see hints of this physically in the brain. Some imaging studies suggest that as a skill gets more automatic,
The brain gets more efficient.
yeah, it seems like the actual brain area involved in the task might get smaller, or at least less tissue is actively recruited to do the same job, more efficient processing.
Okay, that's the fascinating science bit. Now, how do we take this and apply it? For you, the learner listening right now.
Right. If fluency means effortless processing, then the biggest obstacle is translating in your head from your native language, your L1.
Because that translation step forces you back into that slow, clunky, attention-heavy controlled system every single time.
Every single time, it's a bottleneck. You have to break that habit.
And the way to break it seems to be developing. L2, inner speech.
That's a key concept, yeah. Vygotsky talked about this, how the way we think, our inner speech, develops from internalizing actual spoken language.
It's not just like playing back a recording in your head, is it?
No, not at all. Inner speech is different. It's often really condensed. The grammar, the syntax gets reduced. Words become like powerful shortcuts packed with personal meaning and associations.
Associations built directly in the second language, not via translation.
Exactly. It relies on those direct L2 connections.
So if that rapid-fire L2 thinking is the goal, how do we build it? Where do we start?
Well, the absolute non-negotiable starting point, according to pretty much all the guides and research, is consistent practice.
Daily practice.
Daily, dedicated practice. Doesn't have to be hours and hours initially, though massive practice is needed for true expertise, like that 10,000-hour idea. But for getting automaticity going, short, consistent daily sessions are key.
Why daily? What does that consistency do?
It builds memory, obviously, but it also builds confidence. And it improves the actual communication skills needed for that automatic processing to kick in. You're laying down the pathways, strengthening them every day.
Great, let's get practical. What are the actual strategies the guides recommend to force this shift, to bypass L1?
Strategy 1 is maybe the most straightforward, but needs commitment. Surround yourself with English.
Just listen and read more.
Listen, read, watch, but make it enjoyable. Find podcasts, videos, articles you genuinely like. Start with maybe 10 minutes a day where you only hear or see English, and gradually build that up towards an hour or more.
And the key is not stopping to translate everything.
Right. This is about passive absorption initially. Let the context give you the meaning. Train your brain to just accept the input directly in English without constantly reaching for the L1 dictionary in your head.
Okay, makes sense. Strategy 2.
Strategy 2 involves using that dead time, waiting, commuting cues. It's about starting small and building up complexity in active self-talk.
The active self-talk, so talking to yourself.
Internally, or even quietly out loud, yeah. The goal is constantly mapping things in your environment directly to L2 words and phrases.
You mentioned levels.
Yeah, think of it in 3 stages. Level 1, words, just name things, look around. Car, tree, building, cloud. Simple, direct object-to-word mapping.
Okay, basic labeling.
Level 2, collocations. Start putting words together that naturally occur together. Not just mat, but yoga mat. Not just shirt, but blue t-shirt.
So, common pairings. Why is that important?
It trains your brain to retrieve chunks, not just single words. It's building towards automatic phrases.
Got it. And level 3.
Level 3, Short phrases or sentences. Use those collocations in very simple structures. There's a yoga mat, he's wearing a blue t-shirt, the car is red.
Still using simple stuff you definitely know.
Crucially, yes. Only use vocabulary you already have. You're not trying to learn new words here. You're forcing your brain to process the words you know syntactically, stringing them together, making the automatic processing unit longer.
Okay, words, collocations, short phrases. Then what?
Strategy 3 builds on that. Focus self-narration. This is more active output.
Narrating your life.
Kind of, yeah. Talk through your actions out loud or in your head if you're making coffee. Okay, need the coffee beans. Where's the grinder? Grind the beans now. Planning your day. First, team meeting at 9. After that, need to answer emails.
Why does narrating help so much?
It forces immediate retrieval and use of the language in a connected way. It's low pressure because nobody's judging you, but it's high impact for practicing that quick, condensed inner speech Vygotsky described.
Right, you're practicing thinking in English about what you're doing. Okay, strategy 4.
Strategy 4. This one's tough, but maybe the most pivotal moment for many learners. Ditch the bilingual dictionary.
Ooh, controversial. Go cold turkey.
Switch entirely to a monolingual English-to-English dictionary. It's hard at first, definitely. You'll feel slower.
But why is it so critical for automaticity?
Because every time you look up an English word and get the L1 translation, you strengthen that L1 pathway. You reinforce the habit of translating.
But if you look it up in an English dictionary...
Your brain has to use the English it already knows to understand the new word. It's forced to make connections within English. You build direct L2 to meaning links, cutting out the L1 middleman permanently. It's a huge accelerator for the automatic shift.
Okay, it's painful but necessary.
Yeah.
Got it. And the last strategy.
Strategy 5 is about real-time communication. Use what you know when you speak.
Meaning, don't try to be fancy.
Exactly. Resist that temptation to find the perfect word or translate a complex idea directly from your L1. If you're in a conversation and don't have the exact vocabulary for something...
Find another way to say it. Use simpler words.
Yes. Paraphrase. Explain it simply. This keeps your focus squarely on fluency, on the flow, on using the language you have automatically, rather than getting stuck in that slow, controlled process of searching for words or translating complex structures.
This all ties into avoiding the perfection trap, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So many learners freeze up because they're terrified of making mistakes.
Yeah, wanting every sentence to be grammatically perfect.
But if you wait for perfection, you'll literally never speak. The goal right now for building automaticity is communication. Getting the message across, even imperfectly.
And this is why getting too bogged down in grammar rules during speaking can be counterproductive. The grammar trap.
Right. Analyzing why something is correct, treating English like a math problem, keeps you firmly in that slow, controlled thinking mode. That's fine for writing or editing, but for speaking fluently.
You need intuition, knowing what sounds right.
Exactly, like knowing your multiplication tables. You don't calculate 7 by 8 every time, you just know it's 56 through sheer repetition and practice. Fluency comes when the flow of language becomes intuitive like that.
And that repeated practice, that consistent use, that's what leads to the actual change in the brain, the restructuring.
Yes, that's the core idea from the cognitive science side. It's not just getting faster at the old way. It's a qualitative change. The underlying process restructures itself to become automatic.
So the big challenge for learners is finding ways to get that massive repetition in.
Without it feeling like mind-numbing drills, you need to weave that practice, the words, the collations, the phrases, into activities that are actually engaging and communicative. That's the pedagogical puzzle.
Okay, so wrapping this up. The big takeaway from this deep dive is that real fluency, that effortless flow, it's fundamentally about automaticity.
It's about training your brain to shift gears from that slow, conscious, effortful, controlled system
to the fast, unconscious, effortless automatic system. Stop translating. Start using.
That's the journey.
And you had a final thought for us to consider, something provocative.
Yeah, something to mull over. We talked about how practice makes the brain more efficient, maybe even using less brain space for L2 tasks over time.
Right, the efficiency game.
But that efficiency can be fragile. Think about when you're really stressed or exhausted or just overwhelmed.
You slip back into old habits.
Exactly. You might suddenly find yourself making mistakes you thought you'd overcome or reverting to translating. It's called backsliding. It happens because those effortful, controlled processes, which you still need for complex stuff or fixing errors, tend to fail under pressure.
So the automatic stuff keeps going, but the backup system crashes.
Sort of, yeah. Which leads to the question for you, the listener. If stress or lack of sleep can sabotage your hard-won fluency by knocking out your controlled processing.
Then what non-language habits might be just as crucial for maintaining fluency as vocabulary drills?
Right. Could things like managing stress better, maybe through meditation, or consistently getting enough sleep?
Hmm.
Could those daily non-linguistic practices be just as important for keeping your automatic L2 skills sharp and reliable?
That's a really interesting point, protecting the infrastructure, not just building it.
Something to think about as you embark on or continue your own automatic journey.
A perfect thought to mull over. Thank you for diving deep with us today here on Mr. English Hub.
Keep practicing, keep surrounding yourself with the language, and keep that inner speech flowing.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.